A fundamental practice of a Muslim is his or her Salat. Salat, in English, means prayer. Prayer is an obligation upon all Muslims who are sane adults. Specifically, it is mandatory for all Muslims who are mature physically and mature mentally. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to be 18 years or older. Muslims become responsible for their actions usually around the age of puberty. And it is around that age when they become more cognizant of what are their responsibilities, virtues, and mannerisms. They are held accountable for their actions.
There are 5 mandatory prayers in Islam. The first prayer is called Fajr prayer. Now this prayer is performed in the very early morning and it must be done before the sun rises. Afterwards, we have Dhuhr prayer. This prayer begins after the sun has passed its apex and is performed in the early afternoon period. The third prayer is called Asr prayer. This prayer comes after the Dhuhr prayer. It is performed in the late afternoon when the sun has moved closer to the horizon. And then the fourth prayer is called Maghrib prayer. This prayer is performed during the duration of the sunset. And finally, we have Isha prayer. This is the late evening prayer. It occurs after Maghrib and ends when Fajr prayer begins. So, for example, Dhuhr prayer might begin at 1 p.m. and end at 4 p.m. Now, a Muslim doesn't need to pray for those 3 hours. He just needs to choose a time within that duration and perform his prayer. So the prayer can last, 5, 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. As long as he prays between 1 and 4 p.m., it'd be okay. Beyond the 5 mandatory prayers, which I mentioned, and they are Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, there are also highly recommended prayers in Islam, as well as supererogatory prayers. We pray because Allah has commanded us to do so. Prayer is the hallmark of the practicing believer. It is at the same time our most basic and also our most important and essential form of worship.
Through prayer, we submit to the will of Allah. Prayer gives us a chance to step away momentarily from the worldly life and focus on our personal relationship with God. Through prayer, we express our thankfulness, gratitude for all the blessings in our lives. We pray to show our humility and expose our weaknesses, I repeat, our weaknesses to ourselves. Because God knows our weaknesses. He's the one who created us. Prayer allows us to just stop. Just stop and think of the Creator and make an intention to worship Him. And prayer allows us to transform our intentions into actions of worship. It pulls us away from the distractions and gives us time to seek guidance, ask for forgiveness, and be a testimony of our own faith and a witness of all the bounties He has blessed us with. It is He who has created all, and it is to Him everything will return. It is through prayer that we establish a strong foundation of higher capacity to love God and seek knowledge and search for the truth.